Hey, I just had an epiphany. OKC, go get Kevin Durant. Bring him home. I just had an epiphany. It just hit me like a ton of bricks. I'm listening to Chris Broussard complain about all this equity that they have, which they should be celebrated for having. Got 15 picks. Half of them they will not use. Yo, go get Kevin Durant. Get him, bring him home. There it is. That's the solution. That's where he needs to go. He needs to come back to where he should have never left. He should have never left Kate. He should have never left OKC. OKC was his home. Westbrook ass should have been the one shipped out with respect. But that should have been what it was. That was the basketball decision that should have been made. It wasn't made for whatever reason. And he had to leave there to play well when he should have never had to leave there in the first place. SGA is in place. You got the second pick in the draft. You got Giddey. You put Kevin Durant on that team, you're a playoff team right away. You bring him another star, and you guys could possibly win the whole thing, depending on what you're building. That's Kevin Durant. That's Kevin Durant. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's Kevin Durant. So, yeah, I just have an epiphany right now. Now, I don't know if he has any interest in going back to the place that he left, but the way I see it is, that's a much better situation than the Nets this year, with a hurt Ben Simmons and Kyrie situation in flux. Now, if Kyrie returns, then there's nothing to talk about. Everybody's happy. Everybody stays. But if Kyrie ends up in LA and he's stuck in Brooklyn with Ben Simmons, who may not be healthy, who may not be the best fit for him, and you start thinking about the different places he can go, his team has his money. The Oklahoma City Thunder have his money. He should go home. He should go home and finish his career in OKC with the young talent and all the assets that they have. Because even if they trade a bunch of assets to get him, they're still going to have plenty of assets. Believe it or not. They don't have to deplete their bucket to get him. In fact, I don't even think they need to trade any of those kids that they got. They can just trade him for a bunch of picks. The Knicks should be happy to do a trade like that because they don't have any picks. They need them. That's exactly what they need to trade him for. Yeah, that shit makes all the sense in the world. I don't know if KD would be up for it, but like I said, he should be. It would be a legacy play, man. You go back home and you win in OKC like you should have did in the first place. You should have never left there. Because, yeah, he went there for the Warriors. He won a championship with the Warriors, but his ass could have won with the Thunder, too. They had just made the trade for Oladipo. They were the most loaded team in the league that year. Now, obviously, he went to the most loaded team in the league because they created what they created in Golden State, but people have to remember the OKC Thunder had built a super team for him. I don't know if it's the greatest fit. Probably wasn't the greatest fit. Excuse me, but yeah. Point withstanding, I can't think of one good reason why the Thunder would be unwilling to trade picks for Kevin Durant, who happens to be aging, but is also the greatest player they've ever had. I can't think of one reason why that would be the case. Not one. And I know there's the cupcake thing. Look, if LeBron can go back to Cleveland, he can go back to OKC. If I know OKC is happy with their young players, but I can't think of any reason why they wouldn't want to bring KD back home. Not one reason. For sheer talent alone and basketball fit, whatever you're building, he's going to fit, obviously. It's not a situation he doesn't fit in. And like I said, you have the assets to bring him what he wants, a la Cleveland. Same situation, same way. You could trade the number 2 pick for whatever your version of Kevin Love actually is, if you really wanted to. Bradley Beal or something. And you could literally do that at OKC. Because if you're hoarding all these picks, you got to understand, if you're hoarding all these picks and you don't even have the intention of actually drafting all of them, then eventually you're going to trade them for stuff that ain't better than Kevin Durant. You got to know that. You have to know that. Whatever you're going to relinquish those picks for, they're not going to end up who he's going to be this season and the season after that. Not at all. This is a Hall of Fame, pure scorer. Maybe the greatest scorer to ever play, honestly. Maybe. There are a lot of people who feel that way. So, I've been thinking about places that he could go to because I just don't think Brooklyn's the future for him without the pick equity that they need. And they're not going to get it for Kyrie Irving, even if they try to trade him. Whether he opts in to it and they give him the 5-year deal or just keeps it at 36, they're not getting a first rounder for that. They're not. And I don't think they're going to retain him anyway, honestly, which is why I'm thinking about all these different things that KD can do. Now, if they can bring Bradley Beal to him in Brooklyn, I think that would be dope. But like I said, without this trade equity, I still don't think their team's going to be that good. I think it's in the best interest of the Brooklyn Nets to tear it all the way down, just like Portland did, to build it back up. May take 2 years, but they'll be in a position just like Portland is to build their team right now. At that time, it's not going to take too long. They just need to get themselves back in the mix with that trade equity, which is why they should be eager to do a move like this, because KD really can get them that right away. They can start building their team right now as soon as they start getting those picks. So, if I'm Sean Marks, if I'm forced to see KD go away, I'm calling Sam Presti. And if Sam Presti's willing to relinquish enough picks to make me feel good about it, I'm sending KD to the Thunder. I'm sending him right back to the Thunder. I don't know if he has a no trade clause or not, but I'm not asking. I'm telling you, that's what I would be doing. Because it makes too much sense to me. It makes too much sense if I'm the Nets. They got all the picks in the freaking world, and that is where his number's going up in the rafters. Well, of course, Golden State as well, but he's a Thunder, man. KD was always a Thunder, man. And I really, really feel like he should have never left there. Now, granted, yes, he should have to win championships with the Warriors, but he should not have had to, is what I'm saying. He shouldn't have been the guy the Thunder chose to keep. It's the bottom line. That's what I am saying to you. So, yeah, that's my thought. That is my thought. This ain't got to be that long of a video. I don't have to break down the fit, because what they would probably have to do is make some changes to fit whatever he wants it to be, which is something they probably wouldn't want to do. And I wouldn't want him to change anything if I'm him. You go there, play with Giddey and SGA. Them kids is good. And, hopefully they can keep the second pick so you can play with the young fella, whoever they're going to draft tonight. Chet, it's been reported it's going to be Chet. So I like the length there. Maybe they keep Dort because they have so many picks. I know the Nets are going to want some talent. Maybe they're probably going to want Dort. Maybe they're probably going to want Wiggins or something like that. But with the pick equity, depending on what they want to give up, they should be able to give themselves enough to work with on their bench next season if they want to build. And immediately you vault back into a good team in the Western Conference if you're the Thunder. Now, granted, you still have a mighty fleet of people to deal with all these different teams coming up. But I would tell you, you have what you need to build something to go against them if you start doing so and get, creative with your trade ability right now. And being that you would be bringing in KD, I don't think you would have a problem getting people to want to come to the Thunder and play with them this year. I don't think that at all. KD back in OKC, people wouldn't mind going play with that in that situation. So I don't know. I don't know if Sam Presti will, people like Chris Broussard telling him it's a Ponzi scheme. I don't think that should expedite his plan or make it so that he abandons his plan. But I don't think anybody thought KD would be available potentially. And he still may not be. But this situation looks like it's going south with the Nets, and it looks like it's in their best interest to clean house. And if they do that, they're left with less than most. And that's not good for KD. He needs to find himself in a situation where that is not the case. And the Thunder can create that, along with several other teams as well. So, given the pick equity nature of what is needed for the Nets, I think it's in their best interest to send him to OKC. Now, whether or not it would be his best interest to land in OKC is an entirely different conversation. But I think it would be good for his legacy. Just to recap everything that's already been said. So that is my point of view. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.